What's going on, everyone? So the Phoenix Suns ended up pulling off a deal where they turned 1 first into 3. And they said that it's not, we didn't have Jimmy Butler in mind when we did this move. Like, stop. We all know you clearly had Jimmy Butler in mind when you made this move, right? But there's nothing wrong with that. It's a win-win regardless, because either A, you're able to turn this and get Jimmy Butler, or B, even if not, you have 3 tradable firsts now, along with Jusuf Nurkic, that you can package in his $18 million and go get another piece or two that kind of better rounds out the roster and complements, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant. It'd still be nice to get off of Bradley Beal. Or, you have 3 firsts. Maybe a team would be willing to take on Bradley Beal, because it's like, man, we get 3 firsts in the deal. Right? Would a team like Washington be like, hey, we get 3 firsts and we can just take Bradley Beal and just keep him here, right, for another 3 years, 2 years? After this, right? Like, teams might be willing to do that, might be more inclined. So I just think that they put themselves in a better position. But there is a trade idea that has been floating around that may end up becoming a reality now, and is much more likely to become a reality now. And that is the Phoenix, Miami, and Milwaukee trade, where all 3 teams would get in the thick of it, and Bradley Beal would end up going to the Milwaukee Bucks. You would see probably Khris Middleton headed to the Miami Heat, and then Jimmy Butler would go to the Phoenix Suns. This was very difficult, very convoluted, very, not impossible, but damn near, right? And it was just like, yeah, it's probably not going to happen. Phoenix has the picks now to do so, right? And you have teams like Washington and Toronto. That was the 2 teams. There we go. Washington and Toronto, that would be willing to be the 3rd, 4th, 5th teams, whatever, to make it work, right? Because they're looking at it as like, we could get free assets, we could get free picks. On top of getting free picks, maybe we could even squeeze out a couple young players, right? So for a team like Toronto and Washington, they're not going to be any good for the next 3 to 5 years. So if they can get free picks to be the middleman to help all this stuff get orchestrated, they have to take a guy or two and sit on them for a year or two. So be it. It's not the end of the world for these teams. Because again, they're not going to be anything relevant for another 2-3 years. Right? So it doesn't hurt them or harm them in any way. It just stacks up assets and gives them picks. So a team like Toronto, they might take on some of this long-term side. They might take on a Khris Middleton or something just to get the deal done. So that way, but they get 3 firsts in the deal. And it's like, man, Khris Middleton's a good player. He can help this team, veteran guy. Maybe we can flip him at some point, and we get 3 firsts for getting this done, right? There's ways to where these kind of offset teams can really benefit from these 3 guys. Problem is, I don't know why Milwaukee would want in this. Bradley Beal makes 0 sense for Milwaukee. All of the same issues Phoenix has, Milwaukee would have. They'd be terrible defensively, rebounding would be an issue, right? Yes, Giannis is very different, but he's still also best with the ball in his hands. It's just, I don't get, there's still questions about Dame and Giannis and their fit. And you want to add a Bradley Beal to the mix? You want to add Bradley Beal to that? Right? Offensively, you'd probably be tough. And you could always keep a Dame or a Beal on the court at all times. So you always have that, 20 to 30 point a game bucket getter. And I do think in the right situation, Bradley Beal would get back to being a 25, 5-5 guy. I just do not see a scenario where that leads to a championship. Again, the problem is the redundancies. Damian Lillard wants to do the same thing Bradley Beal does. Now, there is the argument, right? Because again, as soon as Phoenix traded for Bradley Beal, I was they just ruined their chances of ever winning a championship. People told me I was crazy, all this stuff, and I was like, no, they literally have 3 of the exact same players, 2 of which are literally the same player, play the same position, want to do the same thing. The argument, though, is Dame plays the point, Beal plays the 2, but you're terrible defensively. You have redundancies in your backcourt, right? Yeah, Giannis can help mask and make up for a lot of those things, but still, and now what? You're trading Brook Lopez, probably, right? But you're trading all your key pieces for Bradley Beal. I just don't think that now all of a sudden this team is a championship contender. Now you can move Giannis to the 5, have Giannis be your 5, and maybe kind of stretch the floor out a little bit and get another thing to help the redundancy. But I don't see a path where that And maybe it does. You never know. It could be wrong, right? Maybe Dame Giannis, and because at least Giannis wants to do different things than what like KD, for example, wants to do essentially the same thing that Dame and Beal want to do. Where Giannis, he can do more, but like. Again, you just have that redundancy. You're terrible defensively. Offensively, you just have so many issues, so many holes. All three guys, you have questions about just their health, their injuries. But although you could argue like the three of them combined and teaming up could really kind of help offset some of those issues, some of those injuries, right? It's just, I get the justification. From like Miami's side, you'd rather have probably Khris Middleton than a Bradley Beal. Right? Especially because now Tyler Hero's emerged. So now you get that kind of Jimmy replacement. So now you can still kind of run the same units that you have. And you got a Khris Middleton who, healthy, is the guy that go get you, 18 to 20. Right? Play some defense, do multiple things out there on the basketball court. So he makes sense for Miami. And then if you're... Also, you might be able to clear off some salary. And then if you're, the Suns, you get your guy. Right, who Jimmy Butler, which I still don't think Jimmy Butler makes Phoenix a true contender. I trust them more to win now with Jimmy Butler than I do now. Right, like right now, I would genuinely be shocked if Phoenix was to make the finals. I don't think they sniff the finals, let alone make it. With Jimmy Butler, I think you actually have a chance, but I also think the West is not the East, and Jimmy Butler, no one would want to see Kevin Durant, Jimmy Butler, and Devin Booker, without a doubt. But I still think you lack the defense, you still lack the size. Like, all of the issues that you have with Bradley Beal all still exist. However, I just think you're tougher, more grit, more grind, and the pieces fit better. Devin Booker, Jimmy Butler, and Kevin Durant just fit so much more seamless than what you have with Bradley Beal right now. I just think it makes far more sense. But is it going to actually pull out? Are they actually going to be able to pull it off? I don't know. To me, it's one of those things that I'll believe it when I see it. But it wouldn't shock me. I wouldn't be like, wow, can't believe that they actually did that. Like, I'd be like, all right, that makes some sense, right? So anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think that this 3-team trade ends up getting done? Do you think, nah, no way? That they're not going to be able to pull this off, even with the 3 firsts that they got. Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, either way, I would love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.